gonna be in here. I'll be a little bit of everywhere.
Whoa, who made these badass blades? Tashi, the French talent that never fades. Ruka assault on the senses, so aggressive it's almost offensive. A slick flow, got mad skills, don't you know? Slicing it up, cutting it up, dealing out the pain. Yo, he's got a mad brain, his style's off the chain. They ain't cheap, but don't complain, cause nobody cares about the money except your wife, your little honey. If she yells and gets profane, do your best to maintain, to keep that shit contained. Sit her down and mansplain. Getting down to the skinny to set a fire as a pair of 20s, making me cry out with joy. Impressive work, you know that Damascus boy. Dark with contrast when I see Recon 1 broadcast. The set on the show, you know I'ma run fast and get up off my ass and make these knives mine.
There are, I feel, degrees of insanity. And for those of us that have fallen down the rabbit hole of high-end knife collecting, one of the greatest degrees of insanity is anything designed by Tashi Bharucha. Tashi, for those that are unfamiliar, is a French knife maker and also a very, very well-established knife designer who has done collaborations with other custom knife makers as well as a plethora of production manufacturers. And everything he does is just mind-ripping. Everything has a very sleek and very organic flow to it. Everything feels modern to futuristic, very sci-fi sort of designs come out of his head. And he has built a rabid fan base of collectors that run to his table when he does Blade Show. It is virtually impossible to buy one of Tashi's customs online, because anytime he does provide a knife to a dealer, the dealer sells out immediately. Pretty much as soon as they upload that knife, it's gone. Now, I don't know if Tashi's books are open. I don't believe they are. I don't think they've been open for a great number of years. But to commission a custom from him should be on everybody's bucket list. I mean, to have him make a custom just for you would be a dream come true. Now, what we're looking at here is a match set. One is a flipper, and one is a fixed blade. And this is the Boomslang set. Oh, man. Absolutely incredible. Now, I should start things off by saying that you're probably never going to see this set ever again. This was made as an exclusive for Recon 1 for their R1 Invitational. So one person is going to be able to buy this match set and own them. Whether they ever choose to sell them in the future, I don't know. But it is a really, really special offering. And whoever gets this, I am eternally jealous, because these are two absolutely incredible knives. Now let's kind of look at them individually and see how they play out. I'll start with the fixed blade here. The Boomslang fixed blade is 8 inches overall. I'm going to move this off to the side here like I normally do, so that I can fit the specs on the screen. And yep, exactly what you thought just happened. So that's the second time in one day that that blade has cut me, that has poked me with the tip. This time it was my stupid fault. Okay, now let's get back to the knife. You're looking at an 8-inch overall size with a 3.375-inch Damascus blade, and it has a 3.175-inch cutting edge. And that's because Tashi really favors doing the beautiful sweeping plunges. So they're coming in from full thickness of the blade stock and gently sweeping down to the edge. And the bevel is radiused. So because of that, it's going to have an area that can't be sharpened. So that reduces the cutting edge. It weighs almost gave you the weight for the folder. It weighs 6 ounces. And the reason for that is, number one, it's a full tang knife. And yes, I am starting to bleed like crazy. And the scales are done in beautiful zirconium. Zirconium is really, really heavy. So that adds a lot of mass to this knife. You might be wondering what those fancy elongated bolsters are made out of. That's actually white carbotite. Carbotite is a really interesting material. If you go back years and years and years and years, I was able to introduce you to a revolutionary material back then that was called carboquartz. Carboquartz, unfortunately, is no longer available in the world. It is done, period. That's it. And it was the single most expensive material a knife maker could use, which previous to that would have been kind of a toss-up between Damascus and mammoth tusk. So to get above those is pretty darn impressive. And you are looking at a combination of carbon fiber and quartz crystal that were basically smashed together to create one homogeneous material. And it looks incredible. It's so wild. It's so cool. There's a good look at it. And underneath the carbotite and the zirconium, he's decided to use the maroon red G10 liners. And it looks really good. It's a nice dark theme that looks sexy all the way around. Another interesting thing is around this pivot hardware, because he has chosen to use a pivot for hardware, the same thing that I do when I make my fixed blades, but he did that because he wanted it to match the folder. Around that titanium pivot is going to be a zirconium pivot collar. Nice tie-in, and that, oh my goodness, that Damascus is gorgeous. Not only is the pattern exceptional, but his finishing of the material and the etching of the Damascus looks great. It brings out a beautiful contrast, the way that he etched it. It's just perfect. The finishing of the zirconium is a nice fine satin, looks gorgeous. And on the zirconium that he chose for the folder, he decided to go and mirror polish it. It looks fantastic as well. Now that brings us to the folder, which, by the way, strangely enough, are the exact same dimensions. So you're looking at 8 inches overall, just like the fixed blade, with a 3.375-inch blade, just like the fixed blade, and the same cutting edge, 3.175 inches for the cutting edge. But this weighs significantly less because the only zirconium on this knife is going to be the back spacer as well as the pivot collars. The majority of the material that you're seeing here is going to be the ultra lightweight white carbotite, and that is over the titanium liners. Oh, that action. It is absolutely effortless opening and closing. Of course, it's running on bearings, as you would expect. Just amazing. Really, really fantastic look. And when you put these side by side, you see just how gorgeous they are. And again, his design language comes through everything. This specifically, the way that he does this area here, where it's very straight across the spine of the handle, the way it's notched out for your fingers, and then he goes straight again back here, bringing it to a point. and his flipper tab, that signature, almost like a shark fin, flat to the front with a very slight concave and straight up to a peak where you're pulling straight back on it. Flips open beautifully and closes, as I mentioned, effortlessly. Nice thick titanium liners on here too. So this is a substantial knife. Even though it doesn't weigh very much, it feels substantial, and the scales are very, very thick on this one too. So this matching set here, in my opinion, it's just breathtaking. Now, the Damascus being used on the folder is a little bit different than the Damascus being used on the fixed blade. Man, oh man. And I can't really discuss the price because I'm not exactly sure what these are going to be sold for at Recon One, but generally speaking, the way Recon One does things these days, it's not going to be as expensive as you would think. I mean, you're talking about, gosh, what was it, 6 months ago? Not even 6 months ago, where they put up a Todd Rexford, direct from Todd Rexford, that was at Maker's Price. When was the last time you heard that? A Rexford at Maker's Price. It's unheard of. I haven't seen that in over a decade. So I like the way that Sako does his pricing, the way that he structures his online knife shows. Very cool. And always wonderful, highly talented makers that are bringing out unique knives. And this set is absolutely that. It is beautiful and it's unique. Now, normally I would be all over the folder. I'd be saying it. I'm the biggest fan of the folder and I think it's great. But there's something about this fixed blade that really draws me in. And I think that he's done an exceptional job here. Now, Tashi's not really known for his fixed blades. He's certainly made plenty of them. But I think because of the popularity of folders, that when you hear his name, it's generally attached to a folding design. But he's done plenty of fixed blades, and I think this is super wild and super cool. And with the weight of the Zerk toward the rear, it feels really, really good in the hand. It feels light toward the blade. I really, really like how that feels. Beautifully done set. Thank you guys for joining me to take a look at this. I'm glad I had the opportunity to have these in my hands for a couple of days and was able to share these with you because there would have been no other way possible because I certainly wasn't going to be able to buy these, and who knows who is going to buy them. Maybe it's not even somebody that subscribes to my channel that would be willing to send them in. So thank you, Sako, for securing awesome makers like this. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to play with them. And I'll see you guys on the next video.